Let's start this show. Hello and no, god damn it. See what happens?
Hello and welcome to the show now.
Huzzahs are in order and such.
You'll be swell. You'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting
Shut the fuck up!
Great. Cut all
get
that.
to the thing.
Don't get to the thing.
What's the thing? Is that the producers?
Everything's coming up roses.
It's not. Welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. We are on episode 120, is that right?
Woo! Yes.
That cannot be.
It can.
And we are here to talk about Star Trek.
Whoa.
Shocking everyone. We probably won't. We'll talk about fucking cake again, as we always do.
Carrot cake.
Man cake.
No more cake.
Man cake?
Man cake.
As usual, this is Ames. I'm joined by
Caitlin.
Jake.
Chris.
And Ames again.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry. Fuck that up.
Caitlin. Cake.
Caitlin. I
Chris.
apologize. My voice is still bad. Get used to it. This is how it's going to be for this fucking intro. This week we are talking about True Q and Rascals. Great.
Star Trek Home Alone edition.
In True Q, we meet Amanda Rogers, who is our new biological science intern, who starts doing some weird shit. Like, all of a sudden, puppies appear in her quarters, and for some reason she doesn't want them, which is just wrong.
Yeah, she's crazy.
And
That's wrong.
then Riker nearly gets warped by a barrel, and she saves him by mentally making the barrel go a different way. And, she's trying to hide that she's doing these weird things, and suddenly, out of nowhere, typical day in engineering, the warp core is about to blow for no fucking reason, and she stops it with her mind. Everyone is like, what the fuck is going on? Let's talk about things. When suddenly Q pops up and says, I know, right? Things are weird. Oh wait, I'm Q.
They're like, what are Q doing here?
Basically. And he says, oh, well, so there's this Amanda Rogers chick. She's a daughter of two Qs who renounced their powers, decided to live as humans. We'll get to that later. Which means she has all these Q powers. I'm ready to take her with me to the continuum if she passes all these tests and shit.
Or maybe I'll kill her.
We don't know that yet.
Well, we find out later.
We find out pretty quickly.
You don't have to do a play-by-play.
No, we don't. But yeah, so Q is teaching her all the Q stuff. She's questioning whether she wants to do the Q stuff. He admits that, oh, whoops, the Q did kill her parents when she was little. So now she's conflicted about whether she wants to be a Q or not. Until she realizes that saving lots and lots and lots of lives on this planet, Tegra 4, whose heavy-handedness is hitting us over the head because their industrial activity has irreparably polluted their atmosphere, threatening to block out their sun and kill all their people.
Wow.
And she saves them with a fucking wink of an eye.
And a wiggle of her hands.
Yes.
Can she stop
She had
by here and
figure-skating hands.
take care of all this fake global warming we've got going on, you think? Or...
No, because she ended up going with Q instead.
That
the
dumb
end.
bitch.
Idiot.
I don't know. I'd have gone with Q.
Yeah, no,
Being a
like...
Q sounds fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
Ames, you'd have gone with Q.
No, like, it's like, hi, would you like to be an immortal god? Yeah. Episode over.
Someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Your parents.
Although there is some question about free will that we can talk about.
That's
There
true.
is.
We'll get to that.
Look, quickly summarize Rascals, because god damn it, Rascals.
Oh, boy.
So, Picard, Guinan, Ro, and Keiko are on their way back from Marlonia, where they went to a botanical and archaeological expedition. I don't know why, but they did.
And Picard spent his whole vacation in a cave.
He loves it that way. Probably with Vash. No, wait. She's gone with Q, too. There's a theme! God damn it. When suddenly, things get weird and they don't like it, and they realize, oh, fuck, something's going wrong, we gotta beam out. They bop into the transporter, and they come back onto the Enterprise as prepubescent child.
And a
children.
40% loss of mass.
Which one of them was 40%?
That's the thing. I don't see, because he's like, I might have lost one of them. It was like 40%.
There's 44 of them.
So like
None of them are huge.
I mean, it would have to be Picard, right?
Because he's tall.
Like
he's not a
But
woman.
even
I don't know
so,
if he's
he wouldn't have been
40% of all
40%.
of them, unless he was hiding something under that.
Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, so
Maybe Guinan has an anvil in her hat.
Suddenly, these three people are 12-year-old children.
Oof, sorry.
Four people.
I think Keiko and Ro together could be 40%.
No way. They're like... I think...
We're stuck in the summary, guys.
And Guinan might be 40%.
You think Guinan...
That hat. But anyway.
Yeah. So they're 12-year-olds. They're trying to deal with, oh, fuck, our lives are weird. Miles doesn't love me because I'm a child.
Ugh.
Which really should be fine. He shouldn't love you because you're a child. That would be weird otherwise. Guinan is trying to convince Ro to have a childhood because she lived on the equivalent of Yar's homeworld, basically, where everything was bad all the time. And Picard realizes, oh, fuck, no one's taking me seriously because I look like this stupid kid. And have this horrible voice.
Joke's on him, they never took you seriously.
Ouch.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to relieve the captaincy over to Riker, let him do the thing while I figure this out. Maybe I'll go back to that Atlantis experiment.
Go back to Pangea.
Yes. When suddenly, dun dun dun, the Ferengi attack. And stunning literally everyone, 3 Ferengi take over the whole fucking ship in 2.2 minutes.
It's pretty impressive,
They
actually,
had
for
two
Ferengi.
birds of prey. In fact, they had the exact same birds of prey that attacked the Enterprise when it was protecting the Enterprise C.
Yep.
Funny. Yeah, so the Ferengi are here. They're taking all of the able-bodied adults down to LIGO 7, a planet where they've already captured the science team, which had radioed for help like fools. And they're having everyone mine for Vendarite. But they leave all the kids on the ship because they're not able-bodied adults that can do all this mining. They leave the kids, trapped in their daycare, basically.
And because they seem to feel bad that there are children on the ship?
Why would you bring children on a fucking ship? We'll get to this. The adults who happen to look like children are also among the actual children. Alexander is there. He's fucking the worst.
Well, it's actually the least worst he's ever been, at least so far, though. And
that's because he had so few lines.
And I would also argue that he was better than the actresses playing Keiko, definitely, and possibly Ro.
We'll get to this. So basically, the kids, the child Ro, Picard, Guinan, and Keiko, assisted by Alexander and a Roomba, decide to take the ship back over from the Ferengi with lots of stupid, Home Alone style stunts. They succeed, and Riker and they all figure out, if we just go back through the transporter with this hoodly what's-it that Bev put together using packing tape, then we'll be alright. But first, Ro wants to color in her book so that she'll have some fucking fun for fucking once. That doesn't involve Riker.
I was gonna say, she had fun that one time.
So, alright, well, let's go back to the first one.
Q.
True Q.
The working title, up until very late, was Q Me? Get it? Get it?
You mean the working title wasn't Charlie X again?
No, it's Reverse Charlie X.
Yeah,
because she was an omnipotent being raised by humans.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlie X was a human raised by omnipotent beings.
Yeah. And
her parents died, and she was raised by her step-parents who knew nothing of any of this.
And in her case, all she wanted to do was help people.
And have puppies.
Whereas Charlie was just a very selfish boy.
Yeah.
When she fucking conjured up those puppies, I was like, I don't understand why they're there, but I love them so much. Where are you putting them? I was really upset. It was very upsetting.
Well, she just willed them out of existence.
Oh, no. I don't mean she killed them. I just mean I wanted them to have more screen time.
She should have kept them.
I mean, it would be kind of, people would think it was weird if this girl came on board the ship and suddenly there were a dozen puppies running around.
There were puppies before in The Child, I think. And everyone was so happy to see puppies.
Actually, fun behind-the-scenes fact, it's the same puppies.
How were they still that small?
Because
they got
very
Gary
slow
Coleman
growing
disease.
Puppies. No, I have no
Anyway,
idea.
yes. I have a question. So I have a question about the parents and how this works. So the parents decided to eschew their Q powers.
SQ? Sorry.
To eschew their Q powers.
Gesundheit.
And become humans and have a life and all this stuff. Q met Picard in season 1, so probably 5 to 6 years ago, and puts humanity on trial as if he's never met humans before. So how did the parents decide to be humans early enough to whelp this child?
Well, they knew about humanity.
Yeah.
They just didn't
Did they?
want to... Yeah, because he said like they've been.
Everything Q does is a game.
Yeah, I mean, he even says there like that the Q have been watching humanity. This is just the first time they've decided to like reveal themselves openly to humanity.
And Q just thinks Picard is.
Apparently, I've misinterpreted
I think
Farpoint and thought that was their first meeting ever.
No, because the Q are omnipotent, and omniscient. I'm sure they knew that humans are around. But I would say, I think my impression of the Farpoint encounter was that Q, basically the Continuum was like, man, these humans are getting pretty big for their britches. We better see if they're worthy of being here in space doing stuff.
Feels a little like the day the Earth stood still in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Secretly, the Q wanted to help the jellyfish monsters, and they just came up with a game to do it.
Also possible.
Yeah, but I gotta figure,
loves those monsters.
like, you have to figure that everything that's happening is like part of the problem with the Q is that pretty much anything that happens you can attribute to their influence just by the fact that they exist.
Yeah.
So like obviously like they caused a tornado in Kansas, which never happens.
Not with this new weather canceling.
Not with our technology.
I did think the fact they lived in Kansas was a bit on the nose.
Yeah, the fucking twister. That's hilarious.
Oh, and she had puppies. One of them was Toto.
Yep.
I was just waiting for someone to be like, "You're not in Kansas anymore, kid."
Those weren't Cairn Terriers. Those were Labradors.
They were cute.
Yes.
And then presumably Q manipulated events to get her sent to the Enterprise.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
He would want her to be on his favorite ship when he did his little tests.
Yeah.
And even though he says he didn't, I have a feeling that the meltdown of the reactor on that planet was a little too coincidentally timed to give her yet another test.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that for a second.
Yeah.
That Q, what a shit stirrer.
Mm-hmm.
He does it so well.
Either him or another one of the Continuum. Yeah, I did think one thing that I thought was very weird in this episode was his boss
checking in
that shows up as a shadow and has a booming.
Oh, I missed the shadow. I don't hear the voice.
Oh yeah. He's walking down the hall and at first it looks like it's his shadow, but it's like just some CG shadow that they did.
Oh my god, I have to check that
on the wall.
Did the CG shadow eat Tasha Yar?
No, it just stands there and you hear the voice. And then when Q walks away, the shadow, scurries off, like in Ghost.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. It's like, how's it going? Shouldn't he just been like, you're a Q. You're omnipotent.
You know how it's
going.
going.
You fucking know how it's going. But it was so that the audience could find out that...
Yeah, that it was a test.
Yeah.
And that they were going to kill
killing her.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't mind. I think this episode's all right.
It's all right.
I think this is probably the best
than
Q episode since Q Who.
Q-Who was good. It's very I think Hayden Q was the one where he decides to let Riker be a Q for a day.
That's a terrible. Well, that's a second appearance, right?
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah, well, it wasn't good, and this one does it a whole lot better.
Yeah, it's a similar idea with better execution.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thought experiment. Is like what this is just like an average human teenager, and dealing with this.
Yeah,
and the ways that she handles it.
She had a great exchange with Bev. How often does that happen? Talking about, if you had immeasurable power, what would you do? And Bev says, well, maybe I try to help people. And she says, would you try to bring your husband back? And Bev says, well, I'm not in that situation, so I don't know. And she says, yeah, well, I am in that situation. What the fuck? What the actual fuck is my life?
Yeah, if 18-year-old me had been told, hey, so you're omnipotent and can do anything now.
Ooh, a lot of your classmates would have been.
Had their heads exploded?
No, I actually, by the time I was 18, I was in a high school I liked. But no, I never would have gone to school again, because I just would have been a, trillionaire
you wouldn't have to be.
badass.
You wouldn't even need money. You could just...
will shit into being all the time.
Puppies. So many puppies.
Oh my god, I would be a Q in a heartbeat if I could have all those puppies.
And their poop would be self-scooping.
I feel like...
They wouldn't even poop.
It's a little Faustian sort of situation, right? Because clearly the Continuum is a pretty repressive organization in that you can't do anything because you can't just decide to go be human and have a kid because they'll kill you. You can't.
Yeah, that's a downer.
I don't want kids anyway.
They threw Q out of the continuum at one point, so he says.
We learn in spoilers. We learn that they don't let you leave really in another series.
What was that? Deja Q, the one where he was human.
I think
That sounds right. Yeah.
That was a good one too. I think.
Yeah.
Head naked Q.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he first showed up, he was in the nude.
Really?
We saw half a butt.
I feel like I would remember that.
I'm surprised.
But
I have a screenshot of it in the top 3s.
Oh my.
Still, I don't know, like an 18-year-old being told, like, hey, guess what? Infinite power. It's like, I don't know, I really wanted to go to school and whatever. Like, no, you fucking don't. Shut up. You liar.
But then again,
where's the challenge? I mean, you look at Kirk and you're like, where's your struggle? And Kirk says, you can't just be happy all the time in what, this side of paradise, I think, or some shit.
Maybe.
You need to feel strife to feel like you actually exist. Being a Q,
I think that's
forever
true.
and ever and ever. Like how often? You get bored and
harass a starship captain.
That's probably true.
I have to assume that a lot of our views on this, our cynical views on this, are influenced by the fact that we live in a capitalist world. Because
that's true.
To us, like you said, I'd be a trillionaire because that's what we think of as being a great thing, and that's conditioning.
Yeah. Whereas another thing was, I wouldn't have all these horrible diseases.
Yeah, but yeah, so exactly. So, but if you could talk about TNG times, and it's like, okay, there is no money, and you can pretty much live extremely comfortably and do basically whatever you want.
Yeah, no one's starving to death in the Federation.
And sickness is all but eradicated except for weird exotic space shit.
Yeah. That is actually one of my notes was, hey, at least it's fair that her internship is unpaid because nothing's paid.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, I can see I'd love to be a Q because I just make myself 1,000,000 ice cream cakes and tacos and
We're back on
taco cakes.
And then I'd make myself
taco cakes,
40 pounds as well at the same time. I'd just it'd be great and ripped somehow.
I guess. Well, then if we look at it from say her perspective, right,
with an 8-foot schlong,
she
with
wants
8 1-foot schlongs.
So from a more
like 4 Klingons standing side by side.
More appropriate.
But how many
for her.
balls?
We still haven't figured that out.
No, I meant in Jake's perfect world with his 8 1-foot schlongs.
No balls. I wouldn't need the balls.
Yeah, you would.
They're extraneous.
But don't you need them to get erect?
No. What?
Aren't balls necessary for that?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of people don't have balls and can still get erect.
Oh, why did I think that was a thing?
A
lack of basic human biology, clearly.
I think you have much lower testosterone without balls, but I think that's a hormone, can be replaced other ways.
Fair enough.
Like in a cake.
I'm not going to Google, can you still get erect without balls? But
I will. I'm going to look it up right now.
Now, you can't pee without balls because there's nowhere
That's
to
where
store
the pee comes from. So I'm not that wrong.
Okay, but we look at it from her perspective, from her society, right? Like, thinking more altruistically. She wants to join Starfleet.
She wants to get out of Kansas.
Out of fucking Kansas, yes. And she wants to join Well, that's where her parents are from. We don't know if that's where her current parents are from. But anyway, she wants to join Starfleet, and you think, wow, I can join Starfleet and go as far as, wherever starships can take me. Or I could be a Q and go literally anywhere.
And probably any time.
Probably. Fuck, I can go see Andromeda or some other, I don't know any other galaxy names.
Don't leave Ryza. Q even tells her, she's ordering food or something. And he says, you don't have to eat. And
or
I'm
poop.
Thinking to myself, yeah, but Q, you never ate. When you were a human for a day, you didn't end up eating anything. You don't know how fun eating is.
Eating rocks.
Give this man an ice cream cake.
But then take it away from him so he can know the pain that Troy suffers all the time.
Yes.
I bet she'd like an ice cream cake.
Yeah, I'm surprised Amanda... That was her name, right, Amanda?
Yes.
I'm surprised she didn't do, some nice shit for people on the ship. Why didn't she make...
Riker did in Hide and Q?
I was going to say, she tried to...
she tried to like give Riker that top hat.
I mean, she did save
He looks
Riker
good in
and
that.
Geordi's lives and the lives of everyone on that planet. But aside from that, I mean, come on, she's omnipotent. She couldn't bring back Jack Crusher, give Picard his hair.
No.
You know, I don't know, give Data
Change Wesley's sweater.
more sensitive
Make
nipples.
Wesley a big boy.
I thought the scene where they're talking about that she wants to go to the academy, or she's going to the academy, he's like, oh, you know, I have a son at the academy. I just want to be like, yeah, no, not interested. Like, it feels like Ben's fishing for grandchildren. Like, you know, I have a son at the academy. If you ignore the fact that he got one of his classmates killed. I'm sorry, what? Nothing?
I have a crazy tangential note.
Okay.
We went a season without Q, which was sad. There was no Q in season 5, so we're in season 6. We have a Q episode because there were a bunch of Q options floating around, including a Q Olympics episode. I don't know what would have entailed. That's all I wrote down, but that would have been fun.
Curling.
Love curling.
Me too.
And also one where he creates.
But it would have been spelt with a Q.
But also, this would have to have been Summer Olympics because it's 92.
There's one where he creates character doppelgangers of all of the crew that are basically they're opposites. Not like in I'm told not like in the
Mirror.
Not Mirror. The one where we have a double Kirk. What was that one?
Oh.
Enemy Within.
Within.
Not like that, but somehow more so than that.
Like
that's what one of the pitches wanted, and they couldn't make it work.
They're inverse cells, but maybe not like full on. Like maybe Picard's a little more chilled out and fun loving.
Smoke some ganj.
He loves a hot chocolate.
Yeah, Riker. I don't know.
Has a desk job. But I bring this up because this episode, the premise came from a 17-year-old who basically wrote it so that Amanda Rogers would have been a young boy because he wanted to play him. And the original plot, and I don't know what any of this means in context, but I just wrote down what I saw in the book. The original plot involved Wesley, a teen love affair, and an unwanted pregnancy. I don't know if all of those go together, or if they're just in the episode, but there you go.
Interesting.
I mean, Wesley supposedly has those crazy traveler powers, which I don't know how that compares with Q powers, but he's special. He's a special boy.
Yeah.
He's very special.
Maybe boy Amanda and Wesley were going to combine their powers and accidentally knock up the galaxy.
With puppies.
Yes.
And then the galaxy would have a baby and it would be called Galaxy's Child, and Leah Brahms could show up.
It'd be a giant space puppy. Named Floofles.
One thing I noticed that they did, and I hope if we meet more Qs, it'll continue to be a thing, is that, you know, where normal Q, you know, Q has like his snap gesture to make things happen, and then but she has like this hand like whoosh, whoosh, whoo.
I mean, if you put it best, she has like figure skater hands.
Yeah.
It's like
Isn't that one of the moves that's required in ice dancing?
it's like Harry Potter world, where everybody has their own wand, you know, that's unique to them, and when they go wizarding.
Do you think this means Jeannie is actually a Q and her nose twitch is her, you know, snap or hands?
The nose twitch is Samantha.
Jeannie has lesser powers.
And
Blanks,
Jeannie
right.
can't make people fall in love with you, but Amanda did.
Wait, when you say Jeannie, you're talking about
Jeannie from Aladdin.
He's talking about Jeannie from My Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, wrong Jeannie.
Yeah, she probably could make people fall in love.
Okay, enough. That's copyright. We can't sing that.
Too late.
It was less than 30 seconds. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah, that was a little. That was an interesting plot point.
Her being thirsty for Riker for no fucking reason.
Yeah, dude, why did they have to shoehorn that in? It was like, all of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, by the way, he's hot.
Yeah, no,
she's a woman, and women are whores, and they just want the dick. Everyone knows that.
Wow. I mean, it's true, but why you gotta say it like that?
That does seem to be what the writers of TNG believed. So.
Yes.
I mean, you think they would have maybe, I don't know, like, had her, like, even just make up a random extra for her to be into. Not this guy that, like, could be her father.
No, but Riker's like a manly man and powerful, and he's a big shot on the ship.
I liked Q's comment of like, oh, with all that hair on his face? Ugh.
Yeah. Look good in Regency clothes, though.
He always looks good.
I like who, Riker?
Oh, I thought you meant Q.
I was gonna say, I think Chris was talking about Riker, but
You know, Q
I didn't realize you
Regency
were.
clothes.
I didn't realize
Sorry,
you were.
I'm just always thinking of Q.
Bearing a torch for Riker. But I liked his Regency clothes also.
What is it with the Q and weird out of date clothes?
They just love playing dress up.
Because they know everything about all of time and
it's
space, and they
like...
know that the best clothes are Regency era clothes.
Well, she was just trying to, like, conjure something romantic.
No, I know. It's just...
Nothing says romance like kidnapping. Have I ever mentioned how big of a Phantom of the Opera fan I am?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
Power does corrupt quickly with the Q, though. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to kidnap this guy I'm into.
I did.
Never
Sorry,
mind.
were you gonna say something?
I was going to say she also kicked Q's ass.
Yeah.
That's true. If you did, that was fun. I learned something that I wasn't expecting to be a thing. Bev changes her hair starting with this episode running to the end of the series because before this she'd been wearing wigs and pieces.
Wait, what?
I didn't know that. Apparently the producers thought that Beverly Crusher would have a more professional look than Gates's real hair, which is straight and fine. So they gave her
How
wigs.
is professional?
And I don't even notice that much of a
How does
difference.
having straight, fine hair not professional?
I don't know. It looks
Because in the 80s,
so similar to
big
her real hair.
Voluminous hair was bigger. Was what you pictured high-powered businesswomen.
Really? Because...
In the 80s, I'm talking about.
I know,
You ever see the freaking Aquanet?
Yes, I have, but I don't think of those as professional women. I think of them as teenagers at dances.
But think of like the 80s, the power suit that, the pantsuit era.
Yeah, they did have big fluffy hair in those things, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they probably weren't all pieces.
No, of course not. But I just mean
use shitloads of Aquanet.
It's funny to think that having, fine, straight hair, not professional enough. It's like, it's not,
But then again, yeah.
Really, you're just saying your
but you
hairstylists
were
the
just
challenge.
the last week you were just criticizing Beverly's hair in First Contact
because it looks like shit. It has nothing to do with her looking like a professional. It's just because it's fucking ugly.
Yeah, I almost feel bad because honestly, like the difference is relatively small between last week when she had the slightly fluffier hair and this week when it's down and straighter.
Yeah, no, I had
it's not worth. They had to do an extra hour of prep to get her in a wig every fucking episode.
Yeah, that's
idiotic.
Dumb.
So you're telling me that in that episode when she went up to visit Picard.
Went up to visit Picard.
During a cause and effect, and she had the ribbon in her hair. It was actually just the person that was taking care of the wigs forgot to take that out between takes.
Funny, you're very funny.
That is so bizarre. What Jesus?
There was
It's interesting because there's actually a similar thing with classic Doctor Who. There was this guy who played his character Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. And
you could have said any name you wanted to. Just
and the actor, the actor had they wanted the character to have a mustache, and the actor was like, "Oh, could I wear a fake one?" And they're like, "What?" So what I mean, I feel like mine isn't. So I can grow one, but I feel like it doesn't have that
not Lethbridge Stewart.
It doesn't have that sort of stiff ass British military look.
Okay.
So they actually had the actor wear a fake mustache throughout the whole series, leading interestingly to an opposite where they go to the sort of evil mirror universe. Spock gets a beard. This guy lost his mustache because they could just take it off.
Which is actually hilarious.
That's useful.
But it was a similar thing where someone was like, I don't think mine
and everyone at home was like, oh my god, they made him shave just for this one appearance?
Right. But so it's interesting though, because at least with him though, it came from him. He was the one who said, can I wear a fake one? Because I feel like mine isn't authoritative enough.
Well, some guys have patchy.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. But it's just I feel like at least within his case, he asked for was Gates probably had this hoisted upon her.
Probably, yeah. Because, you don't want to show up an hour early to get a wig fitted on your fucking head.
No. Of
Every
course,
time you're going to be in a scene.
It's probably hard to complain. It's like, God, I had to get here early for my wig, and Brent Spiner's there, or not even done yet. It's like, yeah, sucks to be you.
They haven't gotten to the taint
maybe? Yet. Yeah.
Did you say they haven't got to the taint?
Yeah. They got to paint Spiner
They paint
up and
the
down.
taint?
I wonder who took longer.
It goes all the way down.
Don't paint the taint.
Paint that taint.
I imagine...
Don't paint the taint, baby. Don't paint the taint. don't.
I can't wind up legit though.
Don't tip the taint. Oh, fuck.
Oh god.
I wonder who took longer though, Dorn or Spiner.
I don't know.
Dorn. I'm going to say Dorn.
Well, but see, with Dorn, probably once they made the headpiece, they could probably reuse it all the time.
Yeah, but it's not just that because you have to.
You have to.
If you've ever seen a fan,
there's a lot of blending.
Doing one of those,
so much blending.
It's the blending. It's because they got to use a shitload of putty around the edges to hide the seam.
Plus, they also have to do wig work with Dorn. While I think Spiner's wig work will be easier.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I
think it would be Dorn.
Yeah, it might. I mean, it might be a wash though, because they have to paint more of Spiner too.
Don't paint the taint.
Because they've got to do his hands as well, and I presume they probably go
to the taint.
They probably go at least up to the elbow, I'd imagine.
Well, I bet it depends on the shot.
Up to the elbow and Brent Spiner's taint.
Because if they're not doing any shots that involve his hands, then why would they paint any of them?
No, I think they would always do, just in case a hand.
What if he has to brush his fake wig hair out of his taint?
I heard they don't even wear pants on the set if, like newscasters.
Greatest job ever. Like, being a news anchor isn't easy enough. You're telling me they don't even have to wear pants?
You ever seen that thing where they show behind the anchor desk and they're always wearing like shorts in the summer?
Nice.
No, that's awesome though.
That's what I would do.
Well, there's actually
except the weatherman, because he has to stand in front of the goddamn screen.
He just has his pants painted on.
They add that in the green screen. He just wears green pants. They just add it in post.
He can't move, otherwise the pants won't move with him.
There was this thing recently where Mark Hamill was on Twitter or something and said that I guess it was unseasonably hot during the filming of the original Star Wars. So most of the X-Wing pilots during the climactic Death Star scene weren't wearing the trousers of their costumes. Which I'd always assumed were uniforms. So, I mean, were jumpsuits. So, learned two things that day.
Also, during the filming of Star Wars, I heard that copious amounts of cocaine were consumed.
Well, yeah, it was 1977. Just Tuesday there. It didn't have to be on the set of Star Wars.
So speaking of it being hot or uncomfortable out, fucking Tegra 4. With their pollution machine. And now Amanda has caused a whole lot of people to lose their jobs in the environmental sector, making those anti-pollution machines. Well,
it was big pollution that was keeping that planet dying.
Yeah.
But man, did you check that dude's vape? Oh man, that was a sweet
vape. I wrote down
blinky lights on it and everything.
Props to the props department.
Yeah.
So I'm
gonna hang mine just from a chain around my neck and randomly at work. Vape.
So I'd assumed the idea was basically his lungs couldn't take clean air.
No, I think he just has fucking bronchitis.
Yeah, I think that
everyone's COPD from all the pollution.
That's my assumption.
That was my assumption too.
That makes more sense.
But man, they had 4 nostrils. If they got a sinus cold.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. That time when Bev had her doing an experiment, she had the weird glasses in front of her and all this. It looks less like she's doing science and more like she's making a goddamn cocktail.
She's just playing that glasses instrument. Just different glasses.
Woo.
I also noticed Bev made a lovely Irish setter.
That's interesting.
A lot of puppies this episode.
I was thinking they chose the dog. If I was gonna do the dog versions of Star Trek characters, she would be an Irish setter.
Yeah,
because she's big red.
Yeah, so
big red blazing Bev.
Good on the animal fetcher on that for finding
Wesley would be a Jack
an appropriate dog.
So annoying.
Who else would be I feel like Worf would be an English bulldog.
Well, I would expect almost like a Pity or a Roddy.
You think so?
Because he's just big and
Napoleon
that's why I say
Mastiff.
English bulldog because they're big bulky.
Well, they are, but they're short.
That's true. They are a little smush.
A Marmaduke. Stubby. He'd be a Marmaduke.
That's a Great Dane, isn't it?
There we go.
Data would be a greyhound.
Why did they put Marmaduke down?
A robot greyhound.
Yeah. Weimaraner, because they're kind of grayish.
Yes, Weimaraner. And plus they've got really freaky colored eyes, too. They're a weird gray that doesn't exist on other dogs.
Picard would be a bull terrier for that nose.
Oh my god, I love bull terriers.
They're so cute.
They're the best. We had one at the vet I used to work at, and his name was he had a Russian-sounding name, I want to say, and I can't remember what it was, but it always was very exciting to see him. Anyway, good story, Caitlin.
Troy would be a pug because she's absolutely useless.
She could be a poodle because of the hair.
Or a chihuahua.
Poodles are
because
very
absolutely
smart,
useless.
Poodles are supposed to be some of the most intelligent of dogs.
But I mean, all dogs are empaths, so any dog would work. Would O'Brien be an Irish wolfhound?
I don't know. Do those look like O'Brien?
No, they don't look dopey enough. Yeah. He'd be a bloodhound.
I was just gonna say that because they've got the droopy face and
Riker would have to be like a Labrador.
Yeah, just friendly and the general guy,
and not fixed.
He's just constantly
everything
on the wall.
Geordi would be I don't know what Jordy would
What's
be.
the engineer of dogs?
I think Jordy would be a Saint Bernard with one of those like meta packs under its neck, because that's sort of like
that might be.
That's
Worf.
almost like a toolkit.
Yeah,
Worf might be a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, because that's like it's like a big lovable dog.
No, that's why I said
He could be a
Napoleon
Newfie
Mastiff.
too. What would Guinan be?
Ooh.
What's the most magical dog? Like a Papillon?
That really tall one with like the long straight hair.
Afghan?
I was thinking of that
Afghan
one,
hound?
but I can't remember what they're called.
Is that what, Afghan Hound? Is that right?
I thought Afghans. Let me look. It's cool, guys.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
The tall ones with the long straight hair.
I think that's the one you're thinking of.
With pointy face.
Yeah. This one.
That's the fucker.
Afghan.
Yep.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
That struck me as like the most sort of fantasy dog.
Yeah, that's definitely. Oh,
just one of those silly hats.
Look at the wet fucking poor thing. They look like the drowned ratinest dogs when they're wet. I was actually thinking that O'Brien could also be a basset hound.
Anyway,
weird tangent.
Dogs of Star Trek.
No, this was fun.
It was.
This was a fun tangent.
Related to it, or should we?
No. I had one more Bev related. No, there was a lot of Bev, even though there wasn't a ton of Bev this episode. There wasn't enough.
This is probably the most Bev we generally get in a show.
Yeah.
I love
so
how pissed she was when
Amanda asks Bev, "Oh, how old was Wesley when Jack died? Did he know his father?" And Bev pauses. He was 5 when Jack died. ... End of discussion. Because obviously he does know Picard.
Okay, so was that a fan theory the writers knew, and were they just goading it on, or is it just coincidence that people are finding
I think it's just coincidence.
No, I just read a lot into that very specific pause of what is she thinking? She's thinking, don't tell him about Picard. Stay on the Jack thing. Jack is dead. That's right, Jack is dead.
Maybe she was just trying to remember her line.
The wig wasn't there to be full of her notes.
And they were like, fuck it, we'll fix it in post, and then they didn't.
No. Cool.
But yeah, pretty lame Q episode.
No, it was alright for a Q episode. It wasn't the worst Q episode. It was interesting. It wasn't the best episode, but it's.
Kid.
I was gonna say, you know what it is though? I expect more from Q episodes, even though I'm almost never actually getting more from Q episodes.
I think we have Tapestry this season, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
That's good.
Shit, it's a Q twofer?
Mm-hmm.
A Q-fer?
If it's this season.
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't remember that being a season 7 episode.
Does Q ever show up in any of the movies? Have I asked this question before?
I don't know if you have, but he does not.
Oh, that's a shame.
He doesn't on screen, but his influence is felt everywhere.
So,
you sound like a cute cultist.
Rascals.
Some kind.
Oh my fucking lord!
You know, it wasn't as bad as I expected.
I'll start with this.
Worse than I expected it to be.
Directorial debut of Adam Nimoy.
I did. It's funny. I was saying I don't normally happen to pay a lot of attention to the opening credits, but I saw Adam Nimoy.
He's fucking fired.
Oh, listen, he had to deal with annoying children all episode.
I know.
If that isn't getting hazed on your first try,
seriously,
then yikes.
See, that's the thing though.
They didn't give him a good one for his
first. Nothing works. This is one of those, we give, even as fans, I think...
a lot of allowances.
We give a lot of allowances. And we put on, I put on the nerd voice when I'm being pedantic to kind of illustrate the point that it's all fun and, we don't take it that seriously.
Yeah.
But, come on! The fucking transporter... turning them into children.
Yeah, that was dumb.
There's no reason for it.
That's
the science consultant on the show
was drunk.
Hated this episode because none of it made any sense.
And it's fucking inconsistent with how we know the transporter works, because this implies if the way the transporter works in this episode is the way it actually works, that pretty much says, we murder you and then we reconstruct you from your DNA. Yeah. Because basically what they're saying
is why Barkley is terrified of
the DNA was damaged, so the transporter didn't know how to put you back together. Which would also mean that it couldn't transport anything that didn't have DNA.
True.
Like stuff. Like your fucking clothes.
Right. And they're clothes. So when they first beamed onto the transporter pad, Rose's shirt was way too way too
As
big.
was Picard's.
They were clearly, but then the very next scene they're in sickbay and their clothes are all fitted.
Well,
so is it like Marty McFly
They
shit?
can replicate. No, they can replicate.
Yeah,
that shit.
Ro
But
did
why
have,
would they replicate?
Ro did have a line about wanting to be in her own uniform, so I think they gave him new clothes. The problem with that, though, because I looked too, so they're implying that the clothes didn't change, but they did, except Guinan and Keiko's clothes fit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't bother giving them oversized clothes. They were hoping you wouldn't notice because they were in the background.
Well, Guinan's was probably a pain to make. They don't have to make fucking three sets of clothing.
But you just put her in Whoopi's, yeah.
costume on her.
I think that was...
Especially because she has that distinctive hat. Like, the fact that the hat was smaller was really
a
obvious.
funny sight gag if it was just, like, down over her head.
Yeah, and that fucking saucer
And their
was, like,
underpants are down around their ankles.
Yikes!
All right, Miles.
Oh no!
To be fair, he was like, "Don't stand."
I think she was wearing
He's like,
pants
they
like
did it in the
that.
Bible. Oh, ta-tee-ta-to.
No, dude, he was so not
Yeah,
into
no,
it. He was
that was-
creeped out as fuck the
That
whole
was,
time.
yes, well done,
Credit to
Cole Meany.
O'Brien.
Yeah, no, he
for
did a really good job
not
of looking...
being attracted to the child.
And the child did a good job being a bitch.
Yeah.
She grabbed him by the collar!
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like the biggest problem with this episode is not even necessarily anything wrong with the writing. It's the fact that Bev says,
Keiko's in it?
their responses are exactly as they would be as adults, which is total bullshit. They were clearly written as children. They were written as children.
Every so often I would try
adults.
to imagine their adult counterparts delivering the same line, and I'd be like, I don't think they
It
say
doesn't
that.
work because Ro isn't whiny like that. She's
But
sassy.
she's broody. She was broody.
She is broody, but she's like they got that part right, but the deliveries were wrong.
Well, that's just because the child was a terrible actor.
Well,
I
there's
thought
that.
that
All of them were
Rose
bad,
standing. No, I thought Guinan did an okay job.
Here's the thing.
I think
And I
Guinan
thought-
did the best.
Here's
Yeah,
the thing
agreed.
about Guinan. Here's the thing about Guinan. I have things on Guinan. So the young girl, Carmen Jones, who played young Guinan, has also played young Whoopi in Sister
And
Act.
Sister Act, young Dolores.
But in this episode, because her voice didn't match Guinan's cadence, they had to dub her.
What?
Which, because I knew this going in, I started to find distracting. Like the other time we had bad dubbing on the season.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the dubbing.
But yeah, every so often I would notice like.
Did they dub her with her own voice? Like
No, I think
they
they
got another actor?
used another voice, but I'm not
Dude,
sure.
that's such a bummer.
Yeah, I guess when I picture that girl talking, I don't picture that voice coming out of her. It seemed like a more mature voice.
It was very mature. It was very up-talky, I noticed, which I don't necessarily think of with how Guinan talks.
Yeah, I just thought that the girl had kind of weird delivery, but now that you say it was dubbed, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, it was an odd. Just general like
It's very upsetting.
having to cast child counterparts to everybody is already like it's already kneecapping your fucking show.
Now, I'm pretty sure, and you probably already know this, so I'll just say it. Was Picard Renee?
Yes,
Okay.
but a little bit older than last we saw.
I was gonna say he
Yes,
looked.
it's been like 4 years.
And his voice made me want to destroy him.
Well, yeah, he is weird because he had like a
Posh British voice.
Well, not just that, but I also he looked older than Renee when we saw Renee.
Well, that was
two
2.5, 3 seasons ago.
It was a while ago, so that makes sense. But he looked like that. He looked the oldest of the kids. I would expect him to be 14 or 15.
I wondered on that because what they say is whatever this TVM that they made up for the full DNA bullshit to work. They say it changes when you hit puberty. So it would make sense if the girls were younger because girls hit puberty younger.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, yeah.
That's my way of making
All
it
right, maybe
work.
that.
But yes, I looked up all the child actors just to see, like, you know, what became of them.
What did become of them?
We'll get to that in a second. But yes, Renee actually was 15 at the time. His actor. Even though he's supposed to be
And his
12.
voice hadn't changed?
He's probably mid, like, you know.
Yeah, I think he was
very
getting
much,
there.
That was very. He must have gotten some shit at school because he was very. That
But yeah, the
15
various...
is high school, and still having that kid voice would be rough.
It wasn't that kid though. I don't know.
Unless he was putting it on.
No, I don't know. I
They
just
dubbed him too.
I just honestly didn't think it was that light, like that high.
It was
that
pretty high.
Kid voice, I guess.
No.
Well, that's when he was being a little brat, but I feel like normally it was a little lower.
He's my number one dad!
I thought that was cute.
I
have to admit that I enjoyed that piece.
Well, you can trick the Ferengi with nearly anything.
Yeah, they're idiots.
You could say, look over there and take over the ship, and they wouldn't notice for an hour.
The Ferengi are so powerful.
How powerful are they?
They can take over your ship with half a dozen guys.
Yeah.
That was so pathetic.
Here's the difficult thing, is they picked the Ferengi because they realized, oh my god, if we had it be the Romulans or the Cardassians, it wouldn't make at all plausible for the children to get the ship back. But they have to be powerful enough to get the ship taken over in the first place.
But if the Three Stooges
and there's your catch-22, where it just doesn't fucking work.
Like, yeah, right, all the Ferengi had guns, but there are 1,000 people on your ship. Did all of them stand down? Like, what?
Immediately.
Oh.
Like, yeah, exactly. And it's not like they even took really any hostages, the Ferengi.
Is it possible that a lot of people on the other decks just didn't even know what was happening?
Well, yeah, but then they started rounding them up somehow. Like,
yeah, they transported everyone down.
But did
into
they
hard
actually
labor
do
in the
that,
mines.
or did they only grab? Oh, really? They grabbed everybody?
We saw a lot of people that they were corralling into the transport.
Yeah,
that's
room
true.
and sending
I think the only people
Yeah,
left,
you're right.
the only people left on the ship were the kids, I think,
and the officers.
and the officers.
And
The
presumably
first
Molly.
shift officers.
But
And
who
even
knows?
even Geordi got beamed down.
Do we think Molly is down working in the mines now?
I hope so.
Good.
But yeah,
I want mommy!
you know, they like,
I wanted to fuck.
like,
Ugh.
the minute Riker locked down the computer, people below deck should have known shit was going down, and it was time to, like, get ready.
Well,
Yeah. My porn has been cut off. Now what do I do?
well, we've heard of them releasing anestazine gas to like knock out.
Which is mentioned yet again. I think they mention it more than have they ever actually done it?
I don't think so. Why wasn't it
Neurotoxin.
done here? I don't.
Didn't they use it in Space Seed? I know that's TOS, but they used
talked about it.
something.
They couldn't use it in Power Play because it was. I don't remember why they didn't use it in Power Play.
Well, in this one they couldn't because
Data
they were
would
locked out of the
survive.
computer. Yeah, data wouldn't be affected.
Okay, so when they unlocked the computer, why wasn't that the thing that Picard
that's a good
did?
question.
Why didn't he just release anestazine gas
because
everywhere
they had
except
already
the nursery?
drafted all the Home Alone plans, and they wanted to make sure they hadn't replicated all those micro machines for nothing.
Micro machines?
You know, so that they'd
The
slip
little-
and
the
fall
little-
down the stairs.
Yeah, that happens in Home Alone.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in this episode. There were
No,
micro
I was
machines,
just trying to make a Home Alone reference.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh man, I was so hoping that.
They'd use paint cans.
Yes. No, that Alexander would accidentally hit the signal button when he was handing the badge off to the Ferengi and get himself transported into the transporter with all the other angry Ferengi.
Alexander
weapons.
was almost the least offensive child actor in this episode.
That's
He's
true.
so awful.
That's really why they did this episode. They just wanted to like make the audience feel less shitty about having Alexander around.
Yeah, really. Give him a break. Look, he's out of the 5 children in this episode. He's not 5th. Five.
Yeah, I think, and I think Caitlin will disagree. I think the Keiko actress was the least offensive
Oh,
because
I thought she was
she was
terrible.
most like her character.
I just my whole problem with most of the
Oh, I just meant the acting.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
have a
the
problem
acting.
with-
The characterizations, whatever.
Well, Ro just became a whiny little
Yeah, exactly.
bitch.
Like exactly. I didn't.
Guinan
like,
was just smug, which she's usually
I didn't
smug,
mind Guinan.
but she's not usually this smug.
I thought Guinan was good.
I think Guinan was the closest to Guinan, the
Okay.
real Guinan, adult Guinan.
minus the dubbing.
But I mean, just in
That's
terms
so
of like
upsetting
how
for
she
me.
behaved, her outlook on
Yeah,
things.
her
Like
writing, the writing.
the
of
writing
character.
was written like Guinan.
I'll agree with that.
I don't think Picard was written like Picard. Like they paid lip service to some shit.
Yeah. Why?
He wanted
I want
Earl
it now,
Grey
now,
tea.
now.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that was him pretending to be a kid.
Well, not just that. Yeah,
that
that's
was
fine.
him using his cunning to get into Riker.
Although I thought it would have been kind of funny if he took a sip of the tea and just kind of went like,
Children have different taste buds.
yeah, no, and just
Children
kind of made
don't
a
like bitter.
face. Because when I was a kid, I didn't generally like tea unless it was loaded with sugar and milk. Like now, I drink my tea black. But yeah, so imagine a 12-year-old kid especially Earl Grey, which has that particular
bergamot,
which makes it really weird. Like it would have been kind of funny if he just went like, "Ooh."
Would have been kind of funny.
Yeah,
That would have been good, yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I did not think that the writing served the Picard character. For
Yeah,
most
but I
of it.
think they destroyed the Ro character.
The most.
Yeah, Ro was the worst.
I just don't know if I agree, though, because she kind of goes and she's just like, I'm going to just be a mope. And that's like what we've seen her do before, is be a little mope.
Yeah, but being a mope and saying the things that Ro would say. Like, Ro would be angry.
Yeah.
She would be combative.
I agree with that.
This girl was just kind of like, oh, I guess I'm blah, 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 blah.
I don't know, she's pretty mad at Guinan.
And, like, there's no way would Ro Laren jump on a bed.
Yeah,
ever.
no.
No matter what Guinan had to say.
I did think that was a stretch, yes.
That bed didn't even look that comfy.
No,
Didn't
that
even
bed looked like it
bouncy.
sucked for jumping, actually.
No.
When Guinan was doing it, she's like, you don't want to jump on this bed?
We've got
bag of concrete?
We've got that foam bed. Is a foam bed good for jumping on? I
No,
haven't
that's
tried
a good
because
way
my
to-
head would
I
go
feel
through
like-
the ceiling.
I think you want.
Oh, is it a
springs.
memory foam?
What is
foam?
it? It's like memory foam.
No, it's like a foam.
I feel like foam you
blend.
would break your ankle in.
I just think that it's I think for the bounce it's really
Yeah, you
springs.
need coils for sure. No spring.
Oh, yeah, so I said I'd looked in the various actors.
Oh, that's right.
So Little Guinan didn't act much beyond this, but she went into production.
Yeah.
Actually, mostly works, I guess, for MTV and Viacom.
Hmm.
Little Keiko eventually ended up actually studying art in Japan
And married to Cole Meany.
and
Ew.
worked on at least some anime series, but information's a bit scarce as a director. Little Ro was a regular on some sitcom from 1995 to 2001.
Oh, long lived.
And then I think kind of stopped for a while and then began working like behind the scenes on documentary features more recently.
Oh, that's cool.
And little Picard, first of all, like, is from just a family of entertainers. Like, he's one of the, I went to his Wikipedia entry and it was like all of his relatives had their own pages because they're all people of significance. His aunt or something was Serge Gainsbourg's longtime lover and muse, which means some other Gainsbourg is his cousin. Big French musician. He himself is now a photographer.
Wait, is he French?
No, he's British.
Okay.
But his, like, aunt or something.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like an art photographer
I
now.
know. I forgot until this episode how much I hate precocious British children actors.
I just hate precocious children, full stop.
I was gonna say, so all British children actors then?
They're just so, you just want to kick their teeth in.
You just want to stuff them with crumpets.
So they shut up. Yes.
Exactly, yes. Not in a sexual way.
Have some horrible British toffee so your mouth can't open.
Is
What's
the
wrong with
only
British
reason
toffee?
the
Oh my god, we're real sticky in my mouth.
It's just particularly...
is the only reason the Ferengi attacked in Klingon ships because they wanted to reuse footage from yesterday's Enterprise? Because they clearly reused footage from yesterday's Enterprise.
Oh, I didn't look at that, but
I mean,
I'm going to say probably.
Yeah, it was the same footage. From
No, it was actually. I saw that note.
They lost their Ferengi ship. No!
I mean, I guess it helps kind of play up the fact that they're like pirates. I suppose.
One of them was one of the same Ferengi from
all three.
The dumb one that was trying to learn the computer.
All
I think
three
we've seen before.
we have seen as Ferengi before. 2 from The Last Outpost, and the other one from Perfect Mate.
Yeah, Perfect Mate.
So we've seen
He was
all
trying to make
of
the
them
deal.
being Ferengi before.
That's right. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I
he was
think,
one of the learning
actually.
the computer, who I thought was Nog. At
Yeah.
first, but
Because he sounds just like
he's
him.
got a very similar voice.
The one that knocks over the barrel and destroys fucking, Kamala's cocoon?
Yeah.
Not Kalara? What was her name?
Famke.
Famke Janssen.
Yeah, that's
I
the one.
like that you're still calling her Fremke.
I know, I'm trying to
There's
correct
no
myself.
R.
Thank God DS9 comes along and somewhat rehabilitates the Ferengi.
Well, they stop pretending there's any way they can be a threat, first of all, which is key. I was a little worried for Livingston.
Dude, me too.
I really
was
think
like,
the Daimon
leave him
wanted
alone.
to eat him.
I was really worried.
I mean, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's what he thought. He thought that was a snack.
I mean, he's not wrong. Fish is delicious.
Yeah,
But not
I somewhat
Livingston.
doubt zebrafish is food.
Zebrafish?
Lionfish, rather.
Lionfish eat zebrafish.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
They
that'd be
catch
funny.
the slow ones at the watering hole, haven't you heard?
And antelope fish.
But only the sickly ones. They pick off the sickly ones.
See, it'd be funny if it was the other way
It's gotten
around. If the
weird.
zebrafish were actually the predators.
They could be. And clownfish aren't funny.
Nope.
They're actually pretty sad.
Yeah.
After Finding Nemo, a lot of people went and wanted to buy clownfish without realizing that they're saltwater fish.
I did love the classroom computer
Oh yeah,
Was a fish?
It reminded.
Nope, can't do that.
It
but I
reminded
can.
me of so many like early '90s like Broderbund educational software.
Type mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have enough cousins that are like
Mavis Beacon
are significantly younger than me. That even though I would have been like too old at the time, I still saw them.
Yeah, no, there was. I remember a lot of that shit.
Show us a schematic. I can't do that. Would you like to listen to some songs?
Man, I had the cool. It wasn't a computer game, but it was the coolest fucking toy in the world. It was a
Slinky?
It was a headset that you wore. It looked almost like a phone headset, over one ear, and then you have the mouthpiece. And it took cartridges, and you turn it on, and it would talk to you, and it would I think the cartridges went with like books.
Okay.
So like you'd have a book, and then periodically you'd talk into the microphone. And it was really basic speech recognition, so it could do like yes, no, true, false, that type of shit. But you could like give commands to it. It was like a fucking robot that you could talk to.
That's cool.
Pretty neat toy.
Good job, Jake.
I had a toy that was like a phone that you connected to your TV, and it went with certain tapes, and you had to make selections on the phone to make certain things happen to make the story progress. I thought that shit was pretty cool.
Oh, was that like that girls' night out or like girls?
No, that's like Dream Phone. No, it was like for 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. It was like really young.
I see.
It was like, we're planning a party.
Oh. Anyway, I'm going to take it back to the episode.
Please.
And talk about how the fuck did Bev figure any of this out? Because she comes up with some weird fucking shit out of nowhere. First she says to Picard, what if you start losing all of your faculties too? Or like you start regressing mentally as well as physically, which comes out of nowhere. She just makes this up.
Well, it could happen.
It could happen, but there's no proof, and it's something that they could monitor instead of just jump to the conclusion that maybe you'll start acting like a child too.
I just think it's a fair concern.
It's a concern, but
and
she
they
acts
did
like
get Ro to jump on a bed. I mean,
maybe that's it. But the weirder thing that I realized when she's doing her tests on plants, and she acts like the plants also go through adolescence like people do, which I don't think is a thing.
No, I think what she was showing is that they'll continue to grow. Like
they'll continue. Well, the thing.
Or you're saying that that they won't hit puberty?
The plants reverted to seedlings.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Which doesn't make sense because the whole thing with the people was they lost the RVN bullshit from their DNA, which caused them to like hit puberty.
Well, plants have DNA too.
Yeah, but they don't hit puberty.
Yeah, they wouldn't have the exact.
Well, no, but they.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
Something where they start producing.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the real big issue, right?
If it was like gerbils or something, I'd buy it.
Plants definitely have puberty.
But there has to be a time where they're able to, like, sporinate.
Yeah. I mean, guys, let's
make seeds flower.
Before we even get into that, though, think about it. There's 4 people on that shuttle. 2 of them are human. But they all apparently have their DNA structure in, like, the exact same way that this transporter
we haven't gotten to the chase yet. You'll understand.
Even with seeding, like, fucking Sargon and TOS, like... Still, all their DNA works out in just the same way that this accident affects them all identically.
And we also know that, like, Guinan has been an adult for, like, 400 years at least.
Yeah, I love it. She's like, I haven't been a kid in a long time. Yeah. That's great.
So...
Bev also makes this other comment that strikes me as also contrary to everything she's been talking about with this DNA thing, which is, well, if we put them back through again, they might get even younger. Which is also, it has nothing to do, because if you're talking about this fake, how your DNA splits off when you hit puberty or whatever the fuck they're trying to decide, then you wouldn't get younger because you'd stay in the same place because of the puberty thing.
So last week, we realized Scotty invented... Transporter, like,
cryostasis.
Not even cryo, just stasis.
Well, right.
Psychosis.
Now we've realized we can basically use a transporter as, like, a fountain of fucking youth.
Well... The other thing, too, though, is they didn't know what happened. I don't remember them saying we're shutting down the transporters until further notice. Like they always do when the transporter breaks.
Yeah, it's true.
I think what would have been really funny is if at the end of the episode...
Oh, the Ferengi.
They went in and there was just a bunch of tadpoles bouncing around on the transporter pad.
Because they're frogs. Nice. I like it.
Are they meant to be frog-like?
I think so. It's supposed to be.
Well, certainly in some
act like
mark
it.
on
in
that.
their earliest appearances, they would do this weird, crouchy, weedy.
And when we
Hopping,
finally see their
ribbiting.
home world, it's like a swamp.
Eating
basically.
flies.
Like they basically look like Yoda.
Oh, I forgot we saw Ferengi.
Ferenginar, stop.
That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
That's so silly.
It'd also be great if, like, they, when they beamed all the Enterprise crew down to the surface to mine, if the Ferengi that were, like, running the mining camp, and there's just, like, a bunch of children.
Why do you keep sending us kids?
No.
They keep dying too quickly.
No.
Yeah. That blind one just keeled over.
Yowza.
Oh, his visor would have fallen off.
Actually, his implants probably would have been too big for his head, and would have destroyed his
Ruptured.
brain.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Oh, that's the other thing. Picard's fucking artificial heart. Did
yeah.
that kid have a giant man-sized heart?
And his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Did he, or did it revert back to a normal human heart?
That's not
Because
DNA.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that didn't.
Or
wow.
did he get a
DNA.
second? Did he have his human heart and his fake heart in there together?
Ugh.
Like,
Oh, wow.
what?
I didn't think of that.
That's just weird.
Maybe his artificial heart is around his
Ugh.
heart, like some kind of Dyson sphere
Like,
for his
that
heart.
sounds really,
Dyson
yeah.
heart.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they forget that they wrote that in for his character
Yeah.
for a while.
I forgot that they wrote that in for
but
his
yeah,
character.
I didn't even think of that. That's a big problem for this whole system.
Big trouble in little chest cavity.
Nice.
Not really, but thank you.
So yeah.
What if any of them had like delicate piercings?
Well, Ro has
Come
ear
on.
piercing.
That's what made me think of it.
Come on.
Just saying, maybe Picard also has a Prince Albert. Like, what's going on there?
Almost certainly he does.
Oh boy.
Almost certainly he does.
Okay, which member of the Enterprise, like, senior staff is most likely to have nipple rings?
Riker.
Just one, though.
That was fast, so yeah.
I'm willing to agree
I was
with
gonna
it,
say
though.
Worf.
No,
They love pain.
but you know what he probably has is a PA and like 3 or 4 of the bar ones along the shaft. That's what he's got.
Oh, War got bitched by the
But it has to be
Ferengi.
on both.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you missed him by a
Like-
mile, and
yeah.
then you got wharfed.
Like, big
Damn,
time.
dude.
Big, like, out cold.
Yeah, no, that was pretty pathetic.
I mean, at least it was like with
Their gun was set to tickle, for Christ's sakes. How did they knock him out like that?
At least it was a phaser and not one of them beating the shit out of him. Because that, like, he'd had to have committed Klingon seppuku for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that time Riker would have helped him. Like, yeah, no.
And
man,
Alexander would have helped him because he's next in line.
Yeah, and the Home Aloneing stuff, like, I don't know.
Oh,
I get that this was an episode that was written
For season 5, actually.
well, also for
But they-
children.
but
Like,
they-
this was not for adults to enjoy. This was for kids to watch and have a fun kid adventure.
Ugh. No.
We don't want them watching
This
our
is
Star Trek.
this
Why?
is the Miri of TNG.
Yeah, it was left
Miri
over.
supposed to be for kids? Even kids aren't stupid enough to enjoy Miri, are they?
I don't know.
Ugh. Yeah, this was a leftover from season 5 that apparently only 2 of the writing staff liked, and everyone else was like, "Oh God, we have to make it work, don't we? God damn it!"
Why wouldn't they just can it? Like,
I don't know.
Why?
I
why
honestly
even
don't
Is
bother?
there
know.
another writer's strike? It's the only explanation.
Okay, but all the bullshit in this episode, right? Here's the most unbelievable part in the whole thing.
The Ferengi's attitudes toward how to raise children is better. Yes.
We'll get to that,
Okay.
but that's a good point too. But no, the most ridiculous thing was that Riker was somehow touch typing on that smooth glass fucking surface.
He just memorized all of the buttons.
Luckily, it's the
He's
same
that good.
sequence to watching his favorite porn, so he just knew.
Maybe there's like haptic feedback that we.
It's that harvest porn.
Yeah.
You know,
There's got to be some haptic feedback on that thing.
yeah, because otherwise those consoles would be really difficult to use.
Yeah, they are so useless. But yeah, no, the Ferengi definitely have a point. Bringing children on starships is fucking
They're constantly
stupid.
exploding.
Yeah,
Come
no.
on.
Always in danger, the Ferengi are right.
Also, color blindness must be cured by the 24th century because how the hell could they operate those control panels?
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare.
They're just
They
like
probably
they're all
could-
like various pastels and
They've probably got, cure for color blindness. And
Or you just, or accessibility options when you go there, you say it's set to color scheme 4.
white on a black background, for example.
Or, yeah,
I was telling Jake recently. I was watching a giant bomb video where they were playing "Keep Talking" and No One Explodes. Or No one explodes.
Nobody.
Nobody explodes.
What is that?
It's a game. It's a cooperative game about disarming a bomb where one player gets the how to disarm the bomb book and the other player gets the bomb and they have to communicate with each other what to do.
I've heard about that.
And on Giant Bomb, Jeff, who's my favorite, is colorblind and is trying to. And they're saying, "Okay, what color wires do you see?" And he says, "I think there's a white one, but let's say there's a white one."
A lot of games have,
and it was sad.
Have colorblind modes.
Yeah.
Built in, where it will actually
do like stripes and shit.
It'll change the colors to something that's more contrasty.
I don't know a lot do, but more games are starting to do that. As
I know Overwatch has a colorblind mode.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at something like that game where really color is
pretty important.
Most of the game is knowing what color things are. Would not have a feature like that.
It could be it does, but they just wanted to fuck with this
But
Jeff
then again,
guy.
how could they? Because you would also have to change the instructions in the manual at the same time.
That's a good point.
And the manual is just a PDF file you download.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anywho.
It's a fun game. We should play it sometime.
I would be definitely on board. I love games.
Yeah.
Let's start to wrap this. I'm dying.
Poor Chris. All right. Well, I'm... unless we had more things to say, the Ferengi are better babysitters than the fucking Federation.
No, that's true.
Also, I think this episode is garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed,
bad.
I wouldn't say it's garbage, but it's forgettable.
No,
I got infuriated with it.
It's fair.
I can't, because I can take a forgettable episode, and I can, and again, like I say, I'm not a big canon, but something that like just totally shits on
how the
sense,
how physics works,
common sense, and like how stuff that's not.
Why wouldn't they trust Picard as captain? Right. He's still their fucking captain. He just looks like a child. There's no difference.
Well, yeah, or, whatever. Here's what I would have done if I were Picard. I would get Data to fake my adult man voice, because we know Data
That's
can
true,
do that.
He can. And just use Data like a puppet.
And then just sit in my ready room and be like, I got a cold, guys. I can't come out, so... And then just sit in there with Data and order Data not to tell anyone that he's a kid.
Yeah, and if you order Data to do anything, he has to do it.
That's right.
Just using Data as a puppet, just has his hand crammed right up Data's ass.
He loves it like that.
One of the things I was kind of worried about, though, especially when they were like, oh, we're going to take you off duty, was I was starting to wonder if, like, maybe they hadn't aged down, but they'd been replaced by children with this, like, oh, yeah, we've been replaced by our younger selves. So, like, that was a reason why I could have seen, like, taking him off duty and, like, keeping an eye on them and all this sort of thing, but then that didn't obviously wind up being a thing at all. I thought it was going to be some kind of trick.
Fucking Ferengi pirates.
Good God.
I actually halfway expected the Ferengi to come through the teleporters and be babies.
The other thing, like, there's the end of the episode when Ro is there coloring and she says to Guy, and she's like, I guess it isn't as bad as I remembered. All I could think was like, yeah, because you grew up in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Like, nothing, no childhood that you could be having now could be as bad as your real childhood.
Yeah,
you told us the story about your dad, okay?
I read that since the staff wasn't sure if they'd have any more episodes with Michelle Forbes, they toyed with the idea of letting her stay a child forever.
I would miss the Ro character, although we don't get a lot more Ro, so...
It's so
But
sad. She's a great character.
I think we get, like, one more Ro?
If they had written her out of the show as a child, been like...
And all we got was of Michelle Forbes this episode was her in the fucking shuttle.
Yeah, I mean,
Sad.
it would be a shitty send-off, but I could also be like, all right,
Typical
at least the...
That's what they do to their women.
Michelle Forbes gets a shitty send-off, but the character Ro
Gets
is like, oh, okay, you get to relive a childhood that you didn't otherwise have, so... Yeah.
I didn't know you were interested in plant biology. You mean botany? The word you want is botany.
I know. Keiko was so bitch-splaining plants to Ro.
So that's all she knows how
But
to
she was
do.
briefly so excited they were going to be plant friends.
Yeah, but then
And then Ro's like, I don't want to be your friend.
No, I'm not here to make friends.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Except
like,
with Whoopi. Whoopi's my best friend.
Exactly. Like, Keiko really was the odd one out because,
Nobody likes her.
Even her baby.
Wow, that is the purest, most joyful laugh I have ever heard out of you.
Because no one wins. The baby fails. Miles has stuck with a baby now, and Keiko has no love.
So hold on a second. So when was
Wow.
Christ.
Disaster was season 5, right?
Yeah, she grew up fast.
That baby was like at least 3.
Yeah, no, she grew up very quickly. That's in my notes.
Maybe she and Alexander are siblings. Oh wait, we've already discussed they are.
Maybe not at least 3. But that baby is more than a year old.
Yeah, no, like Yeah, no, it doesn't make any damn sense.
By far.
Well, we don't know how time moves in this show. It's their continuing mission. It could have been ages.
It's all that HGH they've been pumping into the replicators.
Yep.
HGH?
Human growth hormone.
That's what it's when you're juicing. All right. Well, I think it's about time we
let's wrap this up.
Put a wrap on that. So, thanks for listening, folks. Next time on The Star to Star, we'll be listening to 2 new episodes of Star Trek: A Fistful of Datas. A fistful of datas.
Fistful of datas. Okay.
You know, the plural of data is data.
Yeah.
So that should just
but
be a fistful. The proper title of this episode should have just been A Fistful of Data. It would have been more funny.
Well, I would say this is allowed because data in this instance refers to an individual versus the.
Well, then it should be datum. It should be datum.
His name should be datum.
His name should be datum.
Okay.
Datum, I hardly know him. I think every time Data says the word data, I'm not talking about his name, you should drink.
So I know we just had a bad week, but I regret to inform you that Fistful of Datas is a holodeck episode, so good luck.
And it has Alexander, right?
No!
Alexander, big time. Big time, Troy. Ooh, big time. I mean, the one saving grace for you two is that it has a shitload of data.
A fistful, you might say.
I'd say more than a fistful.
Nice.
It's even got data in drag, so...
What?
I know this episode.
We get data in drag?
Get ready.
I'm so excited.
Following that, we'll also talk about the quality of life.
Is this a Loxana episode? Is she going to save
The
another guy
title makes it sound like it, doesn't it?
No, we actually don't see Loxana this season.
But it's like the title makes it sound like it is, considering the half a life, quality of life.
Yeah, her themes.
Yeah, but no, it is not a Loxana episode.
That's very sad.
Yeah,
we will see her again.
We will see her again.
Yes, but will we get good Loxana or annoying Loxana?
Both.
They're all. I mean,
you'll get.
You kind of get the whole package.
You can't have one without the other.
Annoying Loxana.
Nothing rhymes with the Loxana. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's true. So, that's it. We'll be covering those next week. Until then...
Cox on her.
Oh my. That's pretty good, actually. And appropriate.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll be catching up next week. Until then, make sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Tumblr. Our names on those are SSHB Podcast. Not on Facebook, though. That one just search for Start a Steer by Podcast, which is our show. Then you can also download our podcast on iTeam 5.
Yep, iTeam 5.
iTeam 5.
Omega Glory?
The iTeam 5 investigates the Start a Steer hereby.
iTeam is Channel 4, isn't it?
Channel 10, Boston's 10.
I think those things, I bet you somewhere in this country there is an iTeam 5, because I think those news packages are sold by like one company to a local station. Find us on those programs. You can download us on iTunes, you can download us on Google, iTunes, and SoundCloud, and you can find us on any podcast thing. Make sure to tell your friends, tell your enemies, and leave us a five fucking stars. You know it. Just do it. Five stars. Make it happen. Make it so. Make it so, folks. Until then, my name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
Bye-bye.
You're my number one dad.
You're our number one listener.
Aww.
Made that big rip on my vape, a bunch of like pocket lint came out. I'm gonna clean this fucking thing.
Jesus
It's nasty.
Christ. It's like vape smegma.
Ugh. Yeah, clean your vape, people.
Yeah, Jake,
Gross.
everyone already knows that.
Oh yeah, I guess so.